Hello to everyone. I hope you can hear me quite well and you can see my presentation. Maybe you can just give me a short feedback in the chat or via voice.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you. I would like to welcome you all to the event Women in Business today. Since the planned event could not take place in March, I'm very happy that we can hold it today online. My name is Lisa Zordel and I'm working at BWCon and I will moderate the event today. First of all, I would like to give you a short explanation about the event is running today. As we have a lot of registered participants, I would kindly ask you to mute yourself. And if you have some questions, you can use the chat window during the whole event. And after the presentation, you will have some minutes left to ask your questions, or we have a small time slot at the end to have a small discussion. We have also planned a short break of 15 minutes. And just to let you know, we have a small change in the agenda. They are the same speakers, but there's a change between the slot of Christine Deger and Jürgen Reitzner. Also, I have some technical problems. So now you could see the agenda. The event will be recorded and uploaded afterwards on our Women in Business channel. And as you already know, today we have a lot of exciting speakers as guests, and thanks in advance to all of them for their time and presence. And before I will give the floor to our speakers, I would like to give those of you who do not know the Women in Business project a short introduction to the project. But before we start, a few words about my person. I am working at BWCon since 2018. BWCon was founded by the BWCon Association together with Steinbeis in 2014 for the operative implementation of the association goals. And nowadays it is an integrated innovation service provider and it supports companies in the transformation process. And just to let you know, BWCon also offers so-called special interest groups in various subject areas. And the aim of these groups is that participants have the opportunity to discuss and to work on specific issues together. And at the moment, we are building up a group on the topic of women in business. So if somebody of you is interested in joining this group, you can come back to me afterwards. I am working as a consultant in a business development department where we are supporting startups to develop their business ideas. And moreover, I'm working in the Women in Business project. And the aim of this project is to foster the young women entrepreneurship in the Danube region and to encourage women to establish and develop their own business. At the moment, we are 14 project partners from 9 Danube region countries, from public and private organizations, as well as from universities. On this slide, you have an overview about the main objectives and activities in the project. The main objective is to increase competences for business and social innovations for young female entrepreneurs. And what we have already done is the mapping, evaluation, and comparison of needs and barriers which young female entrepreneurs are facing today. And we could also identify best practices in order to support female entrepreneurs and to address gaps with national and regional programs. And we also analyzed the political and legal framework in each of the project partners countries in order to create a policy agenda to improve the policy for female entrepreneurs. And at the moment we are developing entrepreneurial women centers. There we are providing tailored entrepreneurship trainings, for example, also webinars and online meetings for mentoring and for the consulting of the young women. And we also provide access to our Women in Business platform and the membership in our Women in Business community. So if you want to have more information about the project, you can go to our website, which you can see below, or you can contact me at any time. this was just a short overview about the Women in Business project. And now I would like to give the floor to our first speaker, Tanja Ruck. She's a coach, trainer, and founder of the online academy She Potential, and she will present the topic Resilience Goes Business.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Tanja.
Thank you. Well, hello, everybody. Hello, ladies. And I think we do have one or two gentlemen. Lisa, thank you for organizing everything again and giving me the opportunity of having me with BabyCon again. I am Tanja Ruck. I am an entrepreneur, business coach for personal development, purpose, and resilience. I'm a trainer, mentor, and public speaker, and I'm also co-founder of She Potential, a platform that helps and supports mothers who are planning a re-entry into their business life or that want to change their business. So let's talk about resilience and what resilience is. The term itself, it comes from the physics, and it describes somehow the ability of a substance, for example, a sponge or something like that, or an object that springs back into shape. So it's a term from material science, but we will talk about something else, which is more the resistance of the soul, which means, just a second, the ability to deal with difficulties in life, all over business life or personal life, and setbacks as well. And also the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and toughness. So right now we're having a time where this is really, really important, as we all know. And I think it's quite important to understand that resilience is not just a personal trait, it is also something, a behavior, resilient behavior at the workplace. So what it means, we have here some kind of role models that you maybe know or can somehow, I don't know, befriend because you think they're great people or quite a personality. But of course, we also have people in our families and in our relationships that might be a role model for resilience. Resilience at the workplace is a little bit different than in a personal way. So let me just start with the resilience that employees should have. Usually they can cope better with the high demands at the workplace. So what that means is that they can do work maybe a little bit more or easier, which doesn't mean, to get this clear, that they should have always excessive demands from their bosses. So that might be more a structural problem of the companies. So the comprehensive understanding of resilience does not only refer to the individual employees, but also includes an organization. And an organization that is resilient somehow gives like a scope for action and decision making. These examples here, more or less, have somehow, I call, survive something or overcome something. And you might know that also out of your friends and family. For example, if you have somebody that has maybe lost something in his business or has solved a really serious problems or has managed, for example, Corona well and has been very creative, or maybe has recovered from an illness or overcome a divorce or something like that. If you look at this here, the examples, Bethany Hamilton is maybe not as famous as the others here, but She, for example, recovered a shark attack. She lost an arm, but in a really wondrous way. She really is a perfect example for reaching out and getting, overcoming a setback, because she went back into surfing. She used to surf and she continued after her recovery again. Or, for example, Sheryl Sandberg, you might know from Facebook, she really had to deal with the sudden death of her husband and had to overcome that, and also being a mom all by herself all of a sudden. So those are role models, so you have an idea what this actually means. So who particularly is resilient? And in my studies and my studies with others, we've noticed that there's a few things that resilient people have in common. And we've noticed that most of them are quite flexible and adaptable in new situations. And that's something I also really discovered now at Corona, because I've seen a lot of people being very upset about it and being stuck, and others, they were quite active from day one, and they adapted easily to the new situation. It doesn't mean they liked it, but they adapted well, and they were flexible with everything they did. So also it means to be open. They usually have in common that they have a keen interest in life, in development, also to reflect of life and self, and they usually have a positive mindset, which also includes certain thinking patterns or like routines in the morning. Helping others is also something, because it gives you a purpose, and it helps you to find your purpose if you feel helping others. But, and this is especially interesting for the women, it also means to be willing to be helped. So, because if you receive help, it gives you security, it gives you calm, and it gives you, of course, a new inspiration, because other people know other things than you do. A sense of humor, and also a certain sense of humor about yourself, and that you can laugh about yourself, helps as well with resilience. There's definitely also a certain behavior, and this is more a solution behavior than a problem behavior, and definitely it is more a creator behavior than a victim behavior. As well, what we noticed is something they have in common. They usually focus on their strength, and they know usually also the strengths of others that can support them, and they accept what is. So, of course, the question raises, how do I become resilient? And you may be wondering if resilience can be learned. So you see those two pictures, and at one point we have the roots, and the roots, they usually are our traits. And traits means that's where we come from. That's our families, our friends, our business environment, our environment in total. And our states on the right sides, it's like a flow, it's the water. This is the things we can develop. Those are the things we can change, we can create. And also, we may not always be in the qualities in our traits, because not everybody is born with a silver spoon in their mouth. We can come out of diverse circumstances. The states, and this is the good news, the good message, resilience is something you can achieve and definitely learn. So that's why we're here together, because you can learn, everybody, lifelong. I'm not an expert on the VUCA, but it's like a buzzword. And actually, but only now in this current crisis, I think we're really seeing what this term really means. And I'm just giving you an example, the volatility. I mean, this with the crisis, the situation somehow changes literally weekly, daily, hourly. And what was unthinkable a short time ago, like lockdown in a country, has been reality. So it's quite clear today that there is something now clear that we could not be, you know, something completely different tomorrow. So there is resilience. Resilience is something that we should really, really have right now and develop. And because we do need a lot of flexibility and a lot of adaptation. And it's uncertain times because we don't know exactly, or not at all, what this whole thing is going to be. And we need to find out solutions, and we need to find out solutions for ourselves, also to have some kind of security, because uncertainty is something humans don't usually like, and resilience somehow gives you something that gives you security, because you can somehow deal with it independently. So it really strengthens you. Why do women in business especially profit from resilience? Has different reasons. Out of my perspective, it's, I mean, there's also a biological reason, and that is actually that women have a little bit more stress, or let's put it that way, they're a little bit more stress sensitive. But usually a lot of women also have double exposure, or let's say a double load as a mother and businesswoman. So women in particular often put a lot of energy in job and family. So they have like an equal load. And a lot of women feel through that overwhelmed, and through being overwhelmed and sometimes worn out and tired, there's also a reason for self-doubt, okay? And in resilience, you do find quite a lot of strategies that really help you to deal with doubts or deal with overwhelm. For those of you that are interested in reading, there's quite a lot of books that you can read about resilience. My favorite book so far is partially the Resilience Factor, but there's also some German authors that are quite good. But they somehow started everything out, and those are the 7 ones that I cannot look into depth, but just as an overview for you. And also the names of these factors are not always identical. I just want to inform you about that. They can be found in most scientific publications, but you'll find maybe different wordings, but overall they mean somehow the same. So those are from the States, from Karolinowicz and Andrew Chate, and they actually studied for many years at the University of Pennsylvania about the resilience factors. This has been quite a long time ago. Nowadays, we're talking about more factors, and actually I am right now quite involved with some studies, and we're about even 12 factors now. So you can see society also develops new skills and new things you need, because the world is changing. So let's just look into 2 of them. And I took the realistic optimism, which I like quite a lot. And I like to ask the questions usually, who would you give your business to when you go on holiday? The optimists or the pessimists? And usually it is the way that the people really would rather give the optimists their company, of course, because they see the chances and not so much the problems. And we're making a difference here in the resilience. We're not just talking about optimism, we're talking about the realistic optimism. And that on one side describes the conviction a true conviction that things can and will turn for the better. But it also describes the ability to see somehow and discover meaning and something positive, even in a really bad or difficult situation. So you might know the saying, is the glass half full or half empty? Okay, so the resilient person that is realistic has a realistic optimism. However, at the same time, you know, has a view or assesses the reality correctly. So they don't look, what do you call it, through the clouds, or how do we say? In German, you say you're saying you're looking through a rose-colored glasses. So they're not overly optimistic, because of course, if you're just optimistic, you might not be realistic. So this is because unrealistic optimism leads maybe to risk behavior and chances of success being misjudged, or, you know, you might do wrong decisions. So we're talking here about realistic optimism. The next one is networking, social support, and empathy. I put this together a little bit, and I truly think this time is a great opportunity to help others and to strengthen other people's resilience. This might sound surprising that this is a resilience factor, but it's a very, very strong factor. Helping and supporting others really, really strengthens your own resilience, and it keeps you healthy. And I'm saying much longer than if you wouldn't do that. It's not only in your personal life, of course, it's also in your business. And studies actually prove that the psychic energy we give to others, we get back. Somehow we do for always. So an empathy describes like somehow the ability to put oneself in the other person's shoes and observes. And this really helps also to communicate, to be in contact with friends, with colleagues, and also customers. And the network, I mean, we don't need to talk about that. That's what we're doing right now. That's what, for example, the next speaker, Ilke or Anya, doing with their innovative women. They connect, they talk to another, and they really profit from another because they're sharing and they're mentoring. And somehow that really pushes up your resilience and others. So you might wonder how you can strengthen your resilience. And one thing that studies definitely show is, besides a health-oriented lifestyle, for example, good nutrition, good food, enough drinking, sufficient exercise, and maybe like a sensible approach to stress, strengthen not only your physical but also your psychological resistance. But as far as the attitude towards life concerned, I have here a few inspirations for you to try out that might work for you, or that you might face sometimes, or others in your environment. So let me introduce you to thinking traps and how you can find out if you're in a thinking trap. For example, focusing on negative aspects. Some people, you know, they have this tunnel vision and they only focus on the bad. And this is, of course, a non-resilient behavior, because it doesn't focus on the positive, on the possibilities. Also blaming others or yourself or others is not bringing you very, very far usually, and far away from your goals. Reading thoughts, or at least, you know, the assumption of knowing the thoughts of others, this, you know, this leads a good communication, and it's something that is just in your head and not really reality. And usually also what sometimes women do. They overrate emotions and situations instead just saying, hey, what's going on and how can we solve it? Another inspiration for you is re-evaluate. Thinking out of the box, for example, taking yourself out there and ask yourself. For example, if you have like a difficult situation and you really want to get a new way of thinking or a new perspective, you can ask yourself the 3 questions. How will you think about this situation? Or how will I think about this situation a year from now or even longer? Is it still going to be this tough, or maybe do I see an aspect of I learned so much from it? What would your best friend advise you to do? So just pretend you're having your best friend there, and what would your friend say? And this could also be a boss or somebody that's not even around you anymore, but just get that advice and ask yourself that question. How will you feel when you have mastered this situation? This is also an interesting thing that you might want to feel, and you can really picture that moment when you're done with it, when you have mastered it, and all the great feelings that you have with it. And the last one is feedback from others. And can't read this right now. So just a second. Oops. How do I get this away? Okay. So how do I feel when I get feedback? The good thing about that, when you get feedback from others, you get a totally different view and an opinion about yourself. And this can be extremely helpful. So why don't you ask 5 or even more people in your environment? It could be friends, it could be colleagues, it could be a boss or your mother or father, and ask them where they experienced you as a really strong person. So somehow a moment where you were really fully in your power. And the next question will be, what exactly was it that made you so powerful? So ask them in detail what made you so powerful. And how did they experience you? How did you act? How did you talk? What did you do in this situation? This feedback can really get you strong and really help you to see yourself from a totally different perspective and support you on the long run. So we're almost at the end, and I just want to summarize a little bit. It's very important for me to let you know that resilience doesn't mean that we're not vulnerable anymore, because life gives us lections, and that's an important part of life, and we really grow from that. And think about that crisis, and you know that out of your experiences for sure as well, they strengthen us. We always have a choice, and we can change our view, always. It doesn't matter how old we are or what kind of situation we are in life. We can always change our mind and make new choices. Not always think about what's not possible, but especially focus on what is possible. We also cannot run away from our problems, but we can be open for the new and face new challenges and get out of your comfort zone, because that's where the resilience waits for you. Resilience can be learned, so start today. Stay happy, healthy in your job. and always look at the bright side of life. Thank you very much for listening, and I am now open for questions.
Thank you very much, Tanya, for your interesting presentation. Are there any questions? If yes, you can ask them in the chat window, or you can unmute yourself.
No questions?
If there aren't any questions at the moment, I would suggest that we follow up with the next speaker. And if there are more questions, you can ask them later to Tanya, because Tanya, I think you will stay here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have just one comment in the chat. Thank you very much. Very inspiring.
Well, thank you for listening. It was a pleasure.
So
right.
I would suggest that we follow up with the Innovative Women Network with Ilke Heller and Anja Lange.
Oh, there's one question.
No, there's a question.
Oh. What are the first steps that we can take to build resilience?
Well, actually, it is a good thing to read about it a little bit, I would say, truly, because it's a complex model. It's not difficult, but to read about it is quite helpful. I would start reading about it. And you can also get coaching, for example. Does that answer your question? Yeah, thank you for the great encouragement. You're welcome, Sula.
Are there any more questions?
Resilience is a long process, so it's not like from one day to the other. It's a process, and it takes a lot of learnings and awareness, but it's worth it, definitely worth it. And everybody can learn it, everybody. Something I'm convinced of.
That sounds great. Thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome.
So if there aren't any more questions, I would like to give the floor to the Innovative Women Network now.
Yes.
So maybe you could stop. Yeah, thank you very much. So Ilke or Anja, yes. You could start sharing your screen.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Lisa. So first, hello everybody. Good afternoon. I hope you're well. So I would love to ask you some things, but now you've all switched off your screen, so I can't see you, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's okay. So let me first say that I'm very happy to be part of this. Oh yes, we do get some screens. Hello.
Woo, yeah.
That's the spirit of the Innovative Women. I love that.
Very nice.
So we are very happy to be part of it because I really like to work with BWCon. I did that a few times in the past. So we were really happy when they asked us to be part of this event now in a digital way. I've also seen some familiar faces here already. Some innovative women are here in the chat. Hello. That's very nice. So you get a double power of me and Ilke today, which is amazing. We're now both part of this call. And we would like to introduce to you the Innovative Women Network. I call this presentation the Innovative Women in Business, as this is kind of a little bit of a word play with the event today. We are a network of women in Stuttgart and the wider Stuttgart area. So obviously, all women from everywhere can come to our events, but obviously we are based in Stuttgart. We do events every couple 4 to 6 weeks. They are live, and obviously in the past few months also digital. If you could just go back. Sorry.
Okay, I go back.
Ilke is clicking for me. I'm sitting in Bremen, Ilke in Stuttgart, so it's amazing. Yeah, so the founders, it's obviously Dr. Ilke Heller and me. Ilke, if you would just like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm happy to be here in this call, and thanks for the invitation. And it's a pleasure to present the Innovative Women to you. And yeah, I'm an innovation coach, and when I'm not working for the Innovative Women, and I'm doing trainings and seminars and workshops for companies and schools with the design thinking approach. And yeah, that's and I live here in Stuttgart with my family. I have 3 kids, and yeah, so right now I'm really very busy with homeschooling, and I'm missing my job right now.
Well, you still work a lot when you have 3 kids. I don't have kids, so I can't really complain, but at the moment I'm in Bremen with my boyfriend, so I'm traveling in between Bremen and Stuttgart. But yeah, I'm Anja Lange. When I'm not working for the Innovative Women, I'm a freelance presenter and host, or Moderatorin, as we say in German. And I also work as a coach for presentation. Yeah, so we founded the Innovative Women a few years ago because we just really want to encourage other women. It's really our heart project. Our slogan is courage, exchange, and inspiration. So Mut, Austausch, und Inspiration in German. We didn't really want to translate that because that's our slogan, but it really shows what we want to give back with our network. And Tanya, you just gave the most amazing introduction to us, because when you said those words that resilience is built up with networking, helping others, that's exactly what we are doing. That's what we're trying to do. So what do our events look like? We want to support each other. This is taken at a big company in Stuttgart. So we're always a group of around maybe like 40 women. We don't want to be too many, so sometimes we're up to 70, but then we say, okay, that's enough, because networking is really important. And if you're too many women, that doesn't really work anymore. So we support each other. We also want you to, gain new experience, learn new methods, new techniques. So what Ilke said, she is a trainer for design thinking. So for example, here we are at BWCon, and we were talking about new areas of innovation and design thinking. We also did some improvisation theater, which you can see in the next slide. So, we laugh together, we learn new things, we experience things we have never really maybe done before. And I think that's really important, because if you're in your day-to-day, daily job, daily business, you sometimes, do the whole day the same thing. And we just really want you to look across the border and look what else is there, what else can we experience. We also want, obviously, more women on stages. Me being a female presenter, I see that a lot of times when I'm presenting, hosting events, there are only men on stage and I'm the only woman. So this is something, obviously, with the Innovative Women, with our networking events, we give more women the opportunity to come on stage, to talk about their topics. So if you or one of your friends or colleagues ever wants to speak about something, about her topic, it can be really everything. I'll get to that in a second. And please contact us. Let us know if you say, hey, I have this amazing I don't know, whatever topic it is, it can really be everything, and I would like to host an event, and please let us know. We'd be really, really happy to work with you. Yes, and this is the biggest part, I'd say. We are a network, so networking is the most important thing. I was always thinking, and I think this is my personal thing behind Innovative Women as well, because I really like to go out, have a drink, and men always can do that really, really well. I don't know if we have men here, but you're really good in being together, having a beer and talking about business. Women, sometimes, we can still do that better, and this is what we want. Yes, there is a man. Hello. Do you like drinking beer? No. Yes. Perfect. No, I mean, this is obviously, you can't generalize that, but we just think standing together with a glass of wine, that always helps to talk about business, as you can see in the next slide. So women can network too, that's what we think.
Yeah.
Next slide, Ilke.
Yeah, sure.
So here you can just see a quick overview. We didn't translate that, but these were our topics in the last few years. So you can really see the different topics we had about methods, agile methods, about design thinking, innovative topics, or also about mindfulness, about finance, about training your voice. So a really wide array of topics. And this is also very cool, I think. All of our events are in different locations in Stuttgart. So here you can see where we've already been, which can be a co-working space, it can be an agency, a normal company, or a cafe. So if you have a cool location, if you say, oh, I know this really, really nice spot, then please let us know, and we would like to host maybe our next event there. One thing I would like to add as well, so we now present you the innovative women, and maybe you say, okay, sounds nice, but it's not for me, which is totally fine. I would just like to encourage you, as we also have other women here presenting their networks, whatever it is, which network you choose, just choose one, because it is good to support each other and go to those kind of networking events. So which one it is, just use it. Use the power of the female empowerment. Right, and before I start getting too crazy here, I would like to hand over to Ilke, who will present you one of our newest programs.
Yeah, thanks, Anja. So, hey, everybody. We want to present you our new program, which is the Mentoring Circle, because we think that networking is really important and it's very nice and we love to meet each other, but it's also important like to be maybe a little bit more, to support more the development of the careers of women. And that's why we thought about, come on, let's do something like a new mentoring program. And yeah, the new mentoring program is the Mentoring Circle, and the women behind the circle are the Anja, Ilke, me, and Karen Krönert. She's really a professional in mentoring. She has lots of experience in different mentoring programs. And we developed a very special program for innovative women who like to develop their own career further. And I think this is now the time to get into it. And maybe you have also ideas or you have questions how your career will be developed the next month or years, also like after all this Corona stuff. And I think everybody had lots of time to think about what's important for each other. And so I think this program could be very interesting for you also, and that's why we want to present it in very shortly. Anja, maybe you can put our flyer in the chat so you can have a look at it afterwards, because I think we don't have enough time to go into it. We just want to tell you that we have a new mentoring circle and a program. We have very special and interesting women who are working as mentoring women, and they will support the mentoring circles. The mentoring circles are all the mentees who apply for the program, and one circle will have like 4 to 5 women in a circle, and you can work on your own topic in the circle. You will meet like 4 times in 4 months, and you will have a kickoff next week where the mentees and the mentoring women are getting to know each other. And we will finish this first circle in November. So this is very new for us also, and we are very excited to start this now next week. So yeah, have a look on our website or in the flyer. Maybe you are interested in it, and you can grab the opportunity to register for this program.
Unfortunately, I cannot post the flyer or the info sheet into the chat. I don't know why it doesn't go with them.
Okay.
Maybe,
we can just write the website in the chat, and so you can have a look on the website afterwards. And maybe it's interesting for you. And as we have this special event today, we also have a code for you with where you get a 10% rabatt if you register, and you can just type in Women in Business and you get 10%. So the kickoff will be next week on Thursday, and there will be 4 team mentorings, and we will have a final event in November. And yeah, if you are interested in the like how it works, just check our email or follow us in this on the social media accounts we have. We always put their new stuff in. Yeah, and we have something special for you too. Anja, maybe you just tell it them by yourself.
Well, do I have to talk about myself now? No, okay, so we thought, I don't know if you really got this, so we give you 10% for all the women who are in this call right now for our mentoring program. And we thought, well, 10%, that isn't enough. So let's do something more. I don't know if you want that, but maybe some people want that. So if you register until tomorrow, the end of the day, you will also get a free 30-minute presentation power coaching with me via Zoom. So if you'd like to do that, if not, if you'd rather have some design thinking with Ilke, then you can also tell us that.
Yeah, that would be fine too.
So we just give you a goodie on top if you register until tomorrow end of the day. Right,
yeah.
So now it's time for your questions.
Yeah, that was our short presentation about the innovative women. And if you have any questions to us or our network, just ask them.
Yes. If you like, do it via voice, because I think it's a bit easier, but you can obviously also post it in the chat. Let's wait a little bit. Oh yeah, in the meantime, Ilke, you can show the next slide, because we're obviously on all social networks, so make sure to follow us and register for our newsletter. We will only send out a few emails every month where we will let you know about upcoming events. So, no questions.
Oh, thank you very much for your presentation. I have one question. As we have also some of our project partners here from the other countries, are you doing also some online events or just events in Stuttgart?
Actually, we are doing online events since Corona. Before we only met in Stuttgart, and yeah, and I think when Corona is over, we will have to ask the women because how they feel about this online networking. We are really into this real meeting with having a glass of wine. That's for us, I think, a little bit more fun than meeting only online. So I think we have to ask the women, but we started online sessions. Now we had already 2 sessions and it was really also a nice evening. Yeah, but it's not the same than meeting in real.
Yes, but just make sure to have a look on our website or in the newsletter, and then you will find out if we will have another online event. I can imagine we'll do some more.
Hi, Christina here. I have a question.
Yeah.
I was wondering how to become a member of the network, or whether there are any prerequisites on what boxes you need to tick.
Yes, you need to like wine. No, there's literally nothing. I mean, we are called innovative women, but it just means for us that, you're interested in new things, you're curious, and you just have to be a woman.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thanks.
But we do also sometimes have men at our events. They sometimes sneak in. I think they like us so much that they want to be part of it. I don't know. Are there any more questions?
So if there aren't any more questions, I would suggest that we make a small break now. As your presentation is finished a little bit earlier, I think we can make our break for 15 minutes. So We will go on at 5 minutes after 5, I would suggest.
Yes, hello. So, thank you. And let's talk a bit about an interesting project, which is quite similar to the project Women in Business, which is as a similar structure, even it's a more focused target group. But yeah, that's what I want to discuss with you now. Before talking about the project itself, it's about, the subject is business entrepreneurship, female entrepreneurship. I started to be entrepreneur when I was in age of 27. So I have some experience with what it means to start a business in an environment which is male dominated, if I'm a man also, but men with 20, 30 years more experiences. And when you have to deal with them and to be consultant for them, can be quite challenging. So I established my business a long time ago. I'm director of Steinbeis Centers in Stuttgart region. As you can see, there are 2 centers here in Germany. One is also a non-profit.
Mr. Reichler, we cannot see your screen. We cannot
you
see
cannot
the presentation.
because
No.
here it shows you can see it. So
No,
sorry.
we cannot see it, sorry.
Okay, then let's try it once more. So what to do now? Okay. Something happened?
No.
Interesting. So, moment. Okay, here it's when only the host can show it.
Because I gave you the co-host. Now it's working.
Okay.
Yes, now it's working. Thank
Good.
you.
Yeah, thanks for telling. Yeah, that's just a little overview on this offices, what I'm managing, and the Steinbeis Centers in Germany. But as we are talking about international business, also I'm director of a Steinbeis Center in Austria, in Ukraine, and in Romania. And in Romania, we established also a number of more Steinbeis Centers at universities, and I'm managing director of this Steinbeis network in Romania. That's why I point out now this international network, what I'm responsible for, just when it's about new projects. Each of you might be interested in future projects with Erasmus or with other funding opportunities. And of course, we would be happy to be a partner. Project-wise, we talk about IFM Power as a program for empowering females to start business, to become entrepreneurship. Therefore, we use synergies from other projects. Just examples like Danube IncoNet. It's a project to support research and development in the Danube region. And of course, it's interesting to use the potential and the knowledge of women to start business. There exist a lot of female researchers who could become also business women. And as we all know, this is not the real case. We also started an initiative for early innovators to bring young people to business, to encourage them to start business. This is not a special initiative for females only, but in general, we need more young people going to research and to start business, knowledge-based business later. So there are some synergies what we use, some experiences from other projects, ongoing closed projects, and currently we work on this project IFM Power. On the website there you can see much more information about this project. I will point out a few important things about this project. First of all, it's international project, in European project with 9 partners from 7 countries, and among them are 4 universities. So it's a program for women at university, for female students mainly. It's we are now somehow in the middle of this program. It started September 2018, will go until July 21, and we have partners not only from Danube region but also from western part of Europe, and bring all these experiences, competences together to support the students in these 4 universities as a pilot project. And of course is the work, the results of our work can be multiplied and used in other countries also. Outcomes of this project are a study which creates a basis for all our work. So we have done some analysis, some desk research in all these participating countries, but the important part is we did interviews with experienced entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, asking them what were the difficult part in starting a business, what was the environment in family, for example, telling them when they got the idea to start a business, and what tools and support they used to become successful. So this is an analysis which is available, now published in a book, available online in several languages of our partner countries. And this builds up the, let's say, the basis for other actions. Curriculum is established, so that means at these 4 participating universities, we established modules for entrepreneurship for women. So the students in any field of studies, that means for machine building or chemistry or whatever they study, can go for an additional module on entrepreneurship. They will receive 6 European credit points and learn what it means to be entrepreneur and how to do it. We heard from innovative women how important it is to have mentors. We implement a mentorship program to this IFM Power curriculum also. That's our responsibility of Steinbeis. So we established a program for mentoring, and this mentoring program will start in September at the participating universities, because the best help for young women is to see from more experienced women that it is possible. And then, of course, the next question, how to make it functioning. But first of all, very encouraging is to see it works. It's possible to be entrepreneur and to manage work-life balance also. Other partners in the group made a guideline handbook for female entrepreneurship support points. I will show you what that means, and we will work on a toolkit and also some policy recommendations to have some sustainability in this project. So with my center, we established this mentorship program because Steinbeis is used and experienced in connecting universities with business, and we have some good relationship with the business sector, with industry, and of course know how to encourage business people to become mentor. And here in this handbook we described how it should be done at these universities, giving some recommendations. Important because this mentoring program is mandatory for the participating students, and they also will get a credit point when they manage this mentoring program in a successful way. This is a very important component of the program. Quality assurance and all the other external involved institutions told us that we have to take care very much about this program, because it's a real added value for the students, not just to listen about how to do business, how to become entrepreneur, but really to talk with business women about doing it. And this handbook is also available in several languages. And after some experiences, after the next winter semester, we will revise it based on the feedback from the universities, what we're implementing it, and then we know much more. For the moment, theory, it started, but your experiences will come, and then we improve this mentorship program according to the needs. Another component is to establish such IFM Power support points. And with my Steinbeis network, Steinbeis Center here in Baden-Württemberg, we have established this first support point in Germany. It's let's say, not an external or not a new institution. It's a service for women to get information about entrepreneurship, especially so for those women what did not decide yet to become entrepreneur. You know, exist a lot of startup programs. Support is available for those people, also women who decided already to start a business. But what about all these women what are undecided, what do not know, is it really possible for me personally to do it? Shall I go this way? I have plans to create a family later, and at the same time starting a business might be impossible. So there are a lot of questions what women have in such a phase, and we will help them to find the answers individual for each one. And therefore we establish such a support point, and females, and particularly female students, can contact us and they will get advice on all such questions, how to do it. And this advice, this service is for free, so they don't need to pay for the first advice what we will give to them. After that, we can hand over to other institutions what go deeper, what answer more detailed questions, because of course it is necessary to think about business plans, financing, and what about new markets and how to get in touch with the customers. These are the questions what must be answered for anybody who starts a business, not exactly only for women. So our focus in this support point is more for the women who are undecided, who have questions about from their female point of view. And this one is available here in Germany, and for personal meetings, of course, in Stuttgart. Nowadays we are used to go online, and so far we can offer such a service all over Germany. And Dr. Heller, Ms. Lange, when you have some in your network, also some young women what want to think about starting business, they're also welcome to ask for some advice in our IFM Power support point. So this is a service what is available, and this we continue. And I hope to do it in a sustainable way, that even the IFM Power project is closed, we can continue with such a service. I'm also teaching at a university here in Baden-Württemberg, and discusses with students, so I know what questions they have, and of course from my international experiences and from my experiences in doing business, how to answer such questions. So thank you. That was a very brief introduction in the subjects, we might have enough time to answer questions. I'm very happy about this invitation because Women in Business was presented very well and very competent in our events in Seville and Porto 2 times already. Now I'm happy that I had the chance to come to an event of BWCon here in Baden-Württemberg, and online allows to make it really international. So I'm just available for more discussions, more projects, and any cooperation what might be interesting for all of you. Yo, thanks. That's it for the moment.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We got one question, if the support point is only for young women students, but Roxana, she already gave us an answer that is just for female students. So are there any more questions? I have a question to you. How does the online toolkit look like?
Nobody knows yet. That's under construction.
Ah, okay.
It will be available soon, and of course we share it with you. And that's the idea to have it online. What is available now is, for example, this handbook for mentoring, also the handbook how to implement such a service point. The study, what was the first output of this program, when showing what programs exist, what successful experienced women did to become entrepreneur. Such documents are available, and the toolkit is something more for the practical world. When it's about giving support to the women who want to start a business. So it's under construction by some partners of us. We will receive templates very soon, drafts, and then we work with it. But it's for the moment a little bit too early to show something about this toolkit.
Okay, thank you for the information. We had one question again in the chat. Sula, is your question answered now, or you would like to ask it via voice? So if there's no comment, I hope it's answered now.
I did not see the question for the moment.
In the chat, she asked if the service is only for students, what about other women?
So the service point, support point, is in principle open for all women, whoever is interested. The project IFM Power itself focuses more on students, but we would not exclude other women when they have some questions. So we have capacity and also the will to help and to answer questions of any woman. So we are not that much limited and don't do it in a too much formal way. On the website we have an application form to send us the main data, what it is about and who, and for sure we find a way to answer.
Thank you, that sounds great. So now I think the question is answered now. And regarding the time, I would like to welcome our next speaker. This Samira. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, so you have to help me. And you can start sharing your screen.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second. Do you see it?
Yes, perfect.
That's perfect. Okay, thank you, Lisa. Thanks a lot for inviting me today. And good day to you, ladies, and also gentlemen, obviously. Hello, friends in the audience today. I saw some very lovely known faces. And I would love if you just turn your cameras on again, if you can, and if you'd like, so I can see some lovely faces during my presentation. And to answer your question, Lisa, my name is Samira Cice. It's not that hard if you know how to say it, but okay, how it's written is maybe difficult for Germans. I am a female founder working in the creative industry for a little more than 12 years now. And today I'm one half of a dual CEO team, an animation producer and director at my own studio, Greenbox Animation, which is located here in Stuttgart. When I was invited to speak, I was really thinking about what could I do as a presentation, what focus could I put? And I thought maybe I should do something really personal, because it's probably more fun to do and maybe interesting for some of you who are interested in starting your own business, maybe for the first time, or consulting people that start their business for the first time, probably. So when I'm not working at Greenbox and for Greenbox, I am now recently elected chairwoman of one of the largest digital networks for professional women in Germany, which is called the Digital Media Women Nonprofit Organization. It's a German-wide organization with many chapters across the German landscape. And today, because I thought it's cool to make it personal, I'm telling you a story of how I used to be this person and became this person in less than 5 years. It's not a joke, it's true, because going back to the beginning of my career, the first 6 of those 12 years I was working in the industry, I struggled heavily up to a point where I considered my career a total failure. I started as a freelance illustrator for film and advertising right after university. You know, they say it takes up to 2 to 3 years for your business and reputation to build and succeed when you start for the first time. But I was in for 6 years already, and it seemed like getting worse and downhill. I tried and worked hard, but hardly anything ever happened. So why was that? You probably already know the answer, but I didn't at the time. Because, you know, I always wanted to work in the arts and the creative field from when I was little. That's why I moved from a very small hometown in Bavaria to Stuttgart to study communication design and film, and then take on the world. So, but as many aspiring creatives, I grew up with the myth of the lone artistic genius. The lone artistic genius is a very common narrative where we believe that a great artist only ever listens and follows their own muse and their own heart and never listens to anybody else. The great artist never listens to the ignorant masses, the elitist intellectuals. They would never try and please the audience, never ask for help or insight, never follow any trend, and never listen to the critics. Yes. Pretty stupid, right? That's the avant-garde spirit still. And I wasn't even aware of how much I believed in that story, really, and how much it can hold you back, because I never tried to be a creative genius. But this story is so much imprinted upon us that you still think this is the ultimate approach you have to take. So on the other hand, what does this idea, this story, make you feel about networking? Because following that logic, the idea of strategic networking seems like cheating. An act of desperation, probably, because if all the great and influential people in your industry have been lone geniuses, they had to be discovered at one point, and they had to be found because they were brilliant. right? They didn't go out and advertise for themselves. So I wasn't even aware, as I said, of how much I believed in that story, and it cost me many really good opportunities. Luckily, at one point I met my co-founder and good friend Michael. I've known him for a while at that point, and he was just like me, doing his thing, mostly by himself, and we started sharing our experiences when we met. And one evening he came up with the idea of a joint animation studio, combining each other's strengths in animation and motion design. And I thought, wow, this is a great idea, let's do that. So we quickly founded Greenbox. We rented our first really dark and tiny office space and started exploring new techniques and styles and expanding our offer. This was, in hindsight, the first domino that started this chain reaction, and it felt great working together. But we were still trapped in that mental construct of staying recluse, working, 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 being the sole nerd, not leveraging any opportunities in front of us. And a year passed where I was researching a lot and trying to improve my business, because that's not something they teach you at art or design school. So I came across a very valuable piece of information, and this changed everything for me. Because did you know that 70 to 80% of all professional jobs are not obtained through advertising? That's crazy, right? I think some of you probably know, but maybe not all of you. Depending on which experts you are following and studies you find, it could even be more than that, maybe up to 85%. So in today's fast-paced environment, social networks on and offline are an effective way to bring opportunities leading to career advancements. And I think these stock photo people networking agree with me. They are having a good time. So keeping yourself from participating in business-related networks is effectively like shooting yourself in the foot while walking. So being a rather rational person at this point, I truly realized how profoundly wrong I was and asked myself, well, what am I doing here for all these years? Why am I sabotaging my career because of an unrealistic and untrue myth? Why am I shooting myself in the foot? I had to start building my network. Now, this unrealistic story is even that common that I think it is not only something very related to the arts and design industry. I think in your industry, no matter where you are, no matter where you want to work at, it's very common. The lone genius, the inventor, the scientific genius, or the IT nerd programming his very genius program or social network all by himself and then opening up. So I had to start to build a network right now, obviously. And this was actually the second domino falling. And effectively, at this point, the chain reaction was already in progress. And that resulted in me becoming chairwoman of Digital Media Women Network less than 4 years later. And for my company, being able to produce this video, which you're seeing right now. This is our show reel. And in our line of work, this is the most important piece of presentation. This is the real calling card. And I'm not showing you this today because I want to present how much we have improved our talent and our creativity. I'm showing you this because it wouldn't be possible because if I hadn't had other people. I wouldn't be sitting here and showing you this. This would all not have happened. And while I was going to find networks, I joined many groups on social media. I checked out what my friends and peers were participating in, and I even started looking for local real-life networking events. At that time in Stuttgart, there weren't a lot, almost nothing. I went in full throttle into this like networking sphere. And still up to this day, I find new things that networking can help me achieve. So long story short, after some time, I found one of the most empowering, and if not the most inspiring online network for women in various digital industries and across Germany, the Digital Media Women. They were women like me who were curious to learn from others, seek advice and improve, as well as give something back from my experience and field, so I could share and I could get something. And when I found out they had no chapter in my area, I quickly offered to build it, not knowing anyone here, obviously, but I was in 100%. So together with 3 other women, which I also didn't know, but had the same idea at the same time, we founded the Stuttgart chapter of Digital Media Women, and it grew. It started growing kind of by itself. There was really a need, I felt that, but that was really what happened. And another domino in the domino effect. And this domino effect is ultimately it led to me being here, sitting here, speaking to you, ladies and gentlemen, today. So, thank you. Without the help and advice of so many, many great people I met over these years, that would not have been possible at all. So, I don't want to say that I regret these struggling first 6 years of my business, because they have taught me a lot about these limiting effects of these lone genius success stories and other success stories. How easy it was to trick myself into believing I had to be a certain way in order to succeed. So if there's anyone in this audience who needs the push, the extra push to start their own business, my advice for those of you would be stop telling these lone hero stories, other than in fictional work, obviously. Stop believing them, because they're holding you back in every possible way from building a successful network. Go out, talk to people, share your ideas, check out the innovative women, check out the digital media women, check out all these networks that are presented, either local or national, or even international. Develop your networking skills. That is something really, really important. And as much as you develop your subject-specific skills, because you never know where this networking will take you. It can take you in unexpected directions and can change your life, actually, and perhaps even enable you to help change the lives of others. And last of all, it's a journey. I mean, cherish that roller coaster ride and don't forget to knock over some dominoes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samira, for your very personal presentation and your advices. It was very inspiring.
Thank you, Lisa, for inviting me. I mean, I'm open for questions. It's also okay to ask them later, but if there's something burning, then shoot.
So if there are no questions at the moment, I would like to continue with Christine Deger. Christine, can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you. I hope you also can hear me. Sorry
Yes,
for being late.
No problem. If you would like to, you can share your screen now.
Yes, wait a moment. One second, just have to search. presentation. Now it's opening, yes. So, can you see the presentation? Wait a moment.
Yes.
No. Yeah. Okay. I'm really sorry for being late, but I think I'm at the moment at a point with my business. It's kind of I'm the rising star of cybersecurity in Germany. So at the moment, I really have a lot of things to do. And this morning, I was spontaneously invited at a TV show in the breakfast TV show. So I came directly now from Berlin. That's why I'm late. And the announcement came yesterday, so I was really, wow, what's happening? My female entrepreneurship success story is a little bit different. So I started with a why that's also different because I started when I was 54 years old. I'm not a young female founder. I'm a really nearly silver server female founder. Elderly women, after having a real good career in banking and finances, within IT stuff for long years, nearly 20 years, successful working there. And then one day I found myself like in the middle of a swarm, and I was the fish who's always going in the wrong direction. And I had a feeling of I had to fight every day, and when I had some struggles with my health, and I sat there and I thought over, are you really able to fight the rest of your life for doing the job you love and have a surrounding that is not supporting you? And that was also the point when I met Samira and the other ladies from Digital Media Women. They gave me a lot of passion, and I was really happy to find them. The second feeling I always had, it was like a cactus being showered every day. So that's really odd if you have the feeling you're totally on the wrong place. So I found a thing. It's in the age of information. Ignorance is a choice. You can ignore these things, or you can take your own decisions and step on the path and think over what are you going to do next. So my question was, what am I good at? And in my case, it was this topic, cybersecurity. As a woman in IT, you're really a strange thing. But within cybersecurity, it's even more strange because I think it's 89% are male people who are running these things. And it's a lot of technical stuff also. So it was not so easy. And I decided to be my own boss. I never was a person who thought I must be self-employed. You know, I'm not one of these people. So I must found. It was always, I don't know, it was really by the pain of going out of this job that didn't support me. Then I founded in 2017 a consulting company and started consulting with cybersecurity things within companies. My first customers came from networks and also from my business network that I had built in these 20 years. And then last year I founded again. I founded a second company which is building a platform for I would say normal people understanding cybersecurity topics, to give them information and knowledge to make them feel more secure. And that was also this morning in that TV show. They wanted to know how safe is the Corona app Germany's bringing out today. And they asked me these questions, and I'm able to answer the questions from the processes, from the technical stuff, and also from the data protection stuff. I wrote a little book. I write some articles and blog things and do some speakings within IT topics, cybersecurity topics, and conferences and stuff like that. So, and then I found my own way. I found I can really work like I would like to work, with people, with leadership topics, with networking topics, but also with technical topics and digitalization topics. And that's why digital media women was really a good advice to meet other males and females, mostly females, who also wanted to have a voice in the digital world and build up the digital world. Not only it's a man's thing, so if we don't raise our voice, the world will be without our knowledge build it in the future, and it's growing fast. How did I go there? I started networking. Several networks, mainly the Digital Media Women Network and my personal network. I joined a mastermind club within 7 people from different businesses who were all self-employed. So we exchanged knowledge, supported each other, helped with tools and stuff and all the things around. My going there is always plan, do, check, act. That's how cybersecurity is working, and that's how I did work before. So I first think over what is the next step I want to go. Then I try out some things, then I check, and then I make my decision. And what I also learned is to organize myself. If you're in a company framework, you have your, I don't know, daily coffees with your colleagues, you go to lunch with them. There is a point at 5 o'clock where you go at home. And if you're self-employed, you have to give yourself a structure. When it came to Corona crisis, I had a lot of people talking about that, sitting at home in the home office surrounding, so you don't have any structure more. You have to take care of yourself. You have to make pauses and breaks and go for a coffee or call somebody if you feel lonely. So that was something I really learned. And I learned to ask others, how did you do this? I'm not the guy who's a good salesman for her business, for her products or marketing stuff. I never had to do with that, but I asked others and then I went on and learned. So this was really important for me. And always learn and give your best every day. Give your best and learn every day something new out of your comfort zone. Like this morning in the TV show. I've never been in TV before, so that was really big learning. And I tried to find my starting position. First, I started in the surrounding with banking and finances because I knew a lot about how this works, how this is going. Then I changed to automotive and to healthcare and to software development things. And at the moment, I'm a member of a security team at a university. So I expanded also the topics around. And I don't know if this is visible. And I found kind of an agile mindset for my cyber defense team ramp up and also for my personal working. Yeah? How we live is what makes us real. That was my motto. And I found some steps whenever it came to struggling or to problems or to trouble. I first accept what is, and I always go through these steps. That helps me a lot. Cognition leads to experience. Every time I have a response or I get a feedback, I get a new experience. I don't talk about mistakes or problems all the time. For me, it's always experience. Cognition also has a timestamp. I found this very important for me in the beginning. Today I know more than yesterday, and tomorrow I know more than today. So it's just, you have always some point, you know some things, and You make your decision and the next day you know more. You would make the decision maybe different or in another direction, and you can always correct that. Don't blame yourself for doing things not that way. Share your knowledge, learn from each other and with each other, very important. Collaborate and ask questions. Every time I ask questions, I get an answer. Sometimes, to be honest, it's not always the thing I want to hear, the answer I want to hear, but you get one step beyond. No? Also, if you don't want to hear the answer or it doesn't fit in your mindset at the moment, and kind of self-reflect yourself. This leads to self-awareness. You get more stable, you get more strength within you if you reflect your own things regularly. And I found also the agile values that the last 5 years, I think, within IT in the insurance surrounding, I implemented with my teams their agile methods like Kanban and Scrum. And I like very much the values. And sometimes I challenge myself also if I behave like that against me as a person, but also against others, against customers or colleagues or companies I cooperate with. So respect is one of the importance. Focus. Sometimes don't jump from one topic to another. Give yourself a focus times and make kind of a time frames. Transparency, that's mostly important against customers. So customers understand what you're going to do, what you're implementing there, or bring them on values. Make that transparent. Have yourself a commitment against yourself, your own time, but also to the time to others. If you're in a network, that's a really big point. No? If you say, I'm going to do this, so it's not useful if you can't do it because you don't have time or you can take time for it. And faith, always be faithful. Try new things and go on. I learned in these last three and a half years also to take separate times to only go to a place where I have silence surrounding, and then I make plans. I plan my half year, the next year, maybe the next 3 years, and I set my own goals and try to achieve them. And also maybe to correct them. So if we have Corona, I skipped 2 goals during Corona and set others, and that's it. But take your time and also plan around your business, plan your seminars you're going to take or skills you want to ramp up or stuff like that, and take the time for this. Sometimes I must make rapid decisions. It's within cybersecurity, this is clear, but there you have always a team, and sometimes, but you are in a position, if you're working alone, you have to make decisions. So when they called me yesterday at 12 o'clock, I had to make a decision. Am I going to the train to Berlin to sit in the TV this morning, or do I say no? It's a decision. And I decided I'm going to do it because in spite I knew it was stressful and sitting around in train with a mask in the face and having, yeah, but I like that picture. It's always awesome or a little less awesome. It's in any case, it's awesome. Pause and give yourself time to orientation. Have your own orientation. Sometimes if you have a lot of topics, you have to sit there and then see where's the way going and which way I want to go. And protect yourself. Oh, there's an R missing. I'm seeing that. Conquer borders. And grow in silent moments. Give yourself silent moments for growing your personality, your personal skills, your thinking over. And then relax and trust the process. There's always coming something. So, and thank your supporters. So the network you have, the people who support you, who help you through struggles or help you to solve a problem or give you advice so that you can get a new customer. That's it.
Thank you very much.